to it correctly with a couple minutes before we go live. Okay, it exists on YouTube now. No, I don't want the studio.youtube.com link for Robble. Yeah. Um, well, we cannot do minutes as our group, as Matt pointed out. It is the minutes committee, and we only have two of the three of us here. Um,
Hey everybody, welcome to Judge Foundry's October board meeting for 2024. I'm joined by the rest of the board and my cat apparently. We're excited for the new Judge Foundry board. Again, welcome to everybody, and I want to thank the outgoing board members, Amanda and Bears. They're not here today, and John Bryan is also not here today. He had other stuff going on. So we're going to move forward with our first board meeting with the new board. If you've seen our previous meetings, you'll recognize the format, but we got some special stuff to do today as well. So the first thing on the agenda is the membership update, which is on my plate. So I can let everybody know that as of today, we have 331 affiliate members, which is 36 more than last month. 441 L1s, which is 35 more than last month. 253 L2s, which is 9 more than last month. And then L3s, we have 26. L4s, we have 9. And L5s, we have 19. No new L3s, L4s, or L5s this month. That brings our membership total to 1,079 members as of today. The next thing on the agenda is the treasurer's report. John Bryan is not here, so we don't have a treasurer's report from him. That will get uploaded to the website, just like all of our other monthly treasurer's report, and we'll have an update from him in our next board meeting. The next item on the schedule is the member Q&A. Our parliamentarian Matt will read through the questions. I'll give it to Matt and he can get started.
All right. The first question comes from Dave Uni. Can we get a full breakdown on how much and where money was spent for the previous board meeting during which we elected our new board members? I assume that means the annual meeting that we did in September with all the big elections.
Does anyone want to take that?
Yeah, I can speak to that because I was the one who physically ran it. I don't want to step on John Bryan's toes on numbers because there are multiple different sources, and I don't know how he's going to count, for instance, paying for Matt as the parliamentarian. And so John Bryan has all those numbers, and unfortunately he was unable to join us tonight. He feels sick, so he will provide that information at the next meeting. But we will make sure to get all those exact accounting numbers out. We did have two authorizations from 2 months ago that we authorized general meeting budget for rental and food, and then last month we had paying for Matt as the parliamentarian. Oh, sorry, we had a third one as well, which was paying for the election buddy for the elections committee. But they all came in under those authorization numbers, so we'll get the exact numbers out to everybody when John Bryan returns.
Okay. Next question is from Dan Milovitz. I would like to hear both a short and a long-term goal from each board member, and for any returning members, any progress towards those goals that they have already made. Who wants to go first?
I'll go first. Great question. I like Dan always bringing this one back, keeping us honest every month. For me, I have a couple projects, a couple pokers in the fire right now that I'll be talking about a little bit later. So I'm going to keep you in suspense for the moment. All of my stuff I'm working on is going to be specifically addressed a little later on. So there.
I guess I can go next. So my long-term goal for a while has been to working on panels and certifications. We published an article this last month about the L4, L5 panel process. So we have someone in that pipeline now. So that sort of becomes a short-term goal to execute on the panel process for that candidate and other candidates that we have coming soon. And I think a longer-term goal is to work on more of our educational resources, something that I think that we've been lacking. A lot of people have talked to me about, and I think we could put a lot more effort into making better things available for all of our members.
I can take the next one if you don't want to, Rob, or if you are fine going last.
Either way. Yeah,
okay.
I'm fine going last.
I guess one of my long-term goals was I was going to pick up the customer service certification. Amanda talked about it a lot last year, but not a lot of headway got made on it because there were just more pressing things. But I was going to pick that back up because I had a few people ask me about it recently, and so that's sort of one of the long-term goals. Some of the short-term goals are I'm working on some new products. There's a article about, some of the ideas. Nothing super solid yet, so I don't want to say anything, but I've got a few products and designs in the pipeline that I'm really excited about. So that'll be coming up in the next few months.
On to me then. So one of my goals right now is to make sure that we have some role stability within the board, because we're transitioning with some of the roles, and we have two new and very excellent board members, but they haven't been doing this for a year, and so they need to learn how to do the positions and what all the different board pieces mean. And so I've been putting that on my plate and spending a lot of time chatting with the other board members to make sure that we are all on the same page for our roles, our goal, and how we want the board to function. I want to transition a lot of the product stuff to Toby. I'm still going to be doing fulfillment. We've got a thing about this later about how we're designating a products team, but I really want to give Toby free rein to do the thing that she's really good at, which is create and design interesting products for us to get out to our members. So we're going to start transitioning a bunch of the design components openly to Toby. She's done a lot of the designs. She's done our logo. She's got some really good logos in the pipeline and other stuff. And I want to make sure that that's pretty smooth and that Toby gets to really shine there. I want to get stuff in people's hands. We didn't put this on the agenda in part because I figured Dan would probably ask this question, but we are looking at getting the shop back open for a short period of time. We've had some delays between the transition of board members between two back-to-back event weekends that were fairly long. That has precluded some of that. My objective is sometime, hopefully, early next week. We'll open the store for probably 2 weeks, close it mid-November sometime, and then try to get everything shipped out, hopefully at the beginning of December, so we can have things in people's hands before Christmas. That the cool new stuff that Toby's talking about is some of the stuff that we've been trying to get lined up for that, so that people can have cool things from Judge Foundry for Christmas. And I really want to work on community project grant stuff. I've been talking with some people that I don't want to out yet until we have something more solid, to get together some really, really good like video content and other produced content that Judge Foundry is going to sponsor, to try to push out some more education and more outreach materials that Judge Foundry really needs. So follow up if something hasn't been announced by our next board meeting for some of these. So that's what I got.
Okay, thank you. The next question comes from Matt Muckle. He writes, what is the plan for building educational materials for certifying new judges? Currently, all that exists is a link to relevant topics in the CR and the IPG, which, while helpful for heavily invested individuals, has not been looked at as useful by judges trying to enter the program. If I recall correctly, a previous board meeting announced a contract with JudgeCast to help produce some video content, but we do not have anything yet there. Not faulting the JudgeCast team, things take time and people are busy. I would personally like to see a diversified approach here. We are already relying heavily on some mentorship groups for aid in advancement, so there are plenty of volunteers happy to produce content and help out.
Yeah, I can take this question. We're still working on, or the contract is in place and JudgeCast is working on stuff. So that will move forward and things will happen. But we also want more educational content. Like I said in my response earlier, I think we're kind of lacking in this space and we need to move forward with that. So from my perspective as a board member, this is a thing I want to build and I can take on a little bit of that. But we also need those volunteers. When you say there's plenty of volunteers happy to produce content, we need some of those people to step forward and lead this project. We have the community grants or project grants that we've talked a little bit about in the recent past. We can push those a little bit more here. If you have a piece of content or you have a thing that you want to produce and you want, approval or some sort of piece of technology or thing that would help you do that, please reach out, let us know that you want to do that, and we will try and make it as Judge Foundry as we can and as awesome as we can.
Awesome, thank you. And our last question also comes from Matt Muckle. As far as I can tell, the only way to reference what happened in previous board meetings is by rewatching the YouTube recordings. It would be nice if we could have a copy of the minutes or a summarized bulleted list posted in each meeting's relevant forum for reference. This increases accountability and transparency, since right now it's a pain to go find where Susan said why 6 months ago.
Yep, this is on me. There was a communication breakdown between how we were posting the minutes. We have been posting them, or we had been posting them on Judge Foundry's site, but then then I just didn't take over posting them effectively when I was supposed to have done so. We'll talk a little bit about this as we define roles for board members later on here. We're going to get the old ones posted as part of training up the new secretary to make sure that we're all on the same page, and then that will be explicitly the secretary's responsibility to get those posted in the future. They'll be on the site, and then we will link them in the forum as well to try to make sure that those go live, because we have the minutes. We have made them and we have approved them. They exist. We just need to get them posted. So it's just a communication about who is supposed to be doing that. So.
And that's the end of the questions for the Q&A.
Thanks, Matt. The next item on the agenda is the election of officers. Since the board, since we have new directors and a new term, we need to elect new officers of Judge Foundry. Let's see. Each officer-elect will take office when this meeting adjourns and will serve for 1 year until the end of the board meeting in October 2025. We'll start with the office of president. The president is the leader of Judge Foundry and presides at member meetings and meetings of the board. The officer also, like I said, they have this ceremonial purpose of leading these board meetings, and then we have our annual meeting. They'll be the presiding officer. But the office of president is also significant that other people from the outside look and see that that's the person that we put in charge. The president also doesn't have any special extra power within the board. So whoever's elected president doesn't get to like break ties or tell people that they're doing something wrong or have more influence within our board. I think a lot of people know that we have a lot of internal discussions and very equal on voice within the board. But we do need to select a president because both legally we have to do that and we need someone to preside over the meetings. So are there any nominations for president? You can go ahead, Rob.
I would like to nominate Joe Klopchik for president.
Joe Klopchik is nominated. Are there any further nominations? Looks like there's no more nominations. Since there's only one nomination, Joe Klopchik is elected president. The next office is vice president. The vice president automatically becomes president if there's a vacancy and acts temporarily as the president if the president is unable to perform their duties. As you saw in various board meetings over the last year, if the president's unable to attend, then the vice president presides over those meetings. And again, the vice president is a ceremonial title, but it is a notable thing that other people look at our organization and that person has some meaning to folks outside of the organization. Do we have any nominations for vice president?
I would like to nominate Toby Vasari.
Tobias Vasari is nominated. Are there any further nominations? I'm not hearing anything else. Since there's only one nomination, Tobias Vasari is elected vice president. The next position is secretary. The secretary records what happens at meetings, drafts the minutes of the meetings, sends official notices, and files paperwork with the state and the IRS, and sends and receives correspondence. We can talk a little bit more about our secretary duties. Internally to the board, we've been trying to define exactly who is responsible for what things at our board meetings to make sure we get things done in an efficient manner. Y'all all see this well-produced meeting, but we're often scrambling to get things done on Monday and Tuesday before the meeting. So a little bit more definition will happen there, and we're looking forward to having a secretary that will be able to do that effectively. Are there any nominations for secretary?
Can I nominate myself?
Yes, you can nominate yourself.
I will nominate myself for secretary.
Okay. Brooke Gardner-Durbin is nominated for secretary. Are there any further nominations? Since there's only one nomination, Brooke Gardner-Durbin is elected secretary. Again, we'll have more details about the secretary's role. We've talked a lot about that. Finally, we have the treasurer. The treasurer receives funds, disperses funds when authorized by the board, and gives a financial report at each member meeting and meeting of the board. They prepare the annual financial report at the end of the fiscal year and prepares a draft budget for the board to discuss. That's basically covers all of the responsibilities of our treasurer. They handle our money, make sure things going in and out of the bank account make sense. Do we have any nominations for treasurer? Yes,
I
Rob.
would like to nominate John Brian McCarthy as treasurer.
John Brian McCarthy is nominated as treasurer. Do we have any other nominations? I'm not hearing any nominations. Since there's only one nominee, John Bryan is elected treasurer. Congratulations to our newly elected officers. The term of the new officers will begin when this meeting adjourns. So that was the election of officers. We now have a president and vice president and secretary and treasurer as of the end of this meeting. We'll move on to the next thing on the agenda, which are just new business. We have a few resolutions to go over. The first one I have on the list is changes to board meetings for the remainder of the year. Do we have someone that wants to read this resolution?
Sure. Okay, so resolution, whereas the regularly scheduled November and December 2024 board meetings have conflicts with multiple board members being able to attend meetings, whereas it is only required by the bylaws for the board to meet quarterly, resolved that the November regular board meeting is canceled, and resolved that the December regular board meeting will be held on December 4th at 7 p.m. Central Time. So this is just saying that because of the holidays around this time of year, we're going to have one meeting for November and December combined on December 4th. So hopefully that is easier both for the board members and for all of our community members who are interested in, participating, observing, but still, want to be at home with their families on the relevant dates, because the end of these months, it gets busy.
Thanks, Brooke. So I move to adopt the resolution number 2. We've had some resolution numbers changing. So I move to adopt the resolution regarding board meeting dates for November and December. Is there any discussion?
We had brought up that it was conceivable that we would also change future board meeting dates to be the first of the month. Did we want to include that? Because that was a consideration that we had had.
Right, my bad. Should have mentioned that. I'm in favor of having that as well, moving our meetings from the last Wednesday of the month to the first.
Yeah, and the effect of this is really that it's written like we're moving it forward. We're moving it forward by 3 weeks, but in effect, we're skipping a meeting and moving it back by a week, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we wouldn't actually lose that much meeting time. I'm fine with this. We can also, John Bryan is obviously not here, but we've discussed this outside of the meeting. We can also, I'm down to amend this resolution and adopt it, and then we can discuss further. And if we need to change it, we can change it at the next meeting.
The other option is we can just make the resolution at next meeting to move it. It's all the same to me.
Do we think it's more likely that we're going to want to change all of the meetings going forward, because then we don't have to go through the procedure to do it again? That's really what it comes down to.
I mean, I want to move them all going forward. So
I also like moving them all going forward. A lot of the big holidays are at the end of months anyway, and so it seems like we're gonna have to do this song and dance next year anyway if we don't move them. So if we move them all up to the front of the month now, then it makes everything simpler forever.
Okay, so I'm going to write another clause here, and I'll read it to you once I'm done, but it should be pretty straightforward. Matt, you can let me know if this looks right.
I dropped something into the agenda document. Take a look at it.
Okay. So yes, I think this works. I'm going to read this and then we can vote on the amendment and the resolution. So I move to amend the resolution by substituting the following for both resolved clauses. Resolved that the special rule of order establishing the schedule for regular meetings of the directors is rescinded. Resolved that regular meetings of the board of directors will be held on the first Wednesday of each month at 7 p.m. Central Time via video conference unless otherwise ordered by the board. And resolved that there will be no regular meeting in November 2024. I think this meets with the things that we wanted to do. Is there any discussion on the amendment?
No, that all sounds good. So
No.
yeah, just for clarity for everyone following along at home with half an ear, we're just going to not have a November meeting. And then starting in December, all future meetings will be held on the first Wednesday of the month instead of the last. And that way we get to not have so much conflict with various holidays and whatnot.
Yeah. Okay. So all in favor of adopting the amendment as I described, you can raise your hand to indicate that you're in favor. We have 4 votes in favor. So the amendment is adopted. Does anyone have any further discussion on the resolution as amended? Nope. Okay. All in favor of adopting the resolution as amended, you can raise your hand. We have 4 in favor. So the resolution is adopted. Our board meetings have been changed for the end of November and for future. The next item on the list is the merch pre-purchase authorization. Do we have someone who would like to read this resolution?
Toby, do you wanna grab this as our merch thing?
I think it might be better if you took point on reading this.
Okay. So this is listed in our doc as Resolution 3. It'll be Resolution 2. Those will be renumbered. The resolution is to create a products team and authorization to pre-purchase merchandise. Whereas the prior merchandise orders have been imposing a large per item cost due to exact ordering. And whereas, I closed this incorrectly. 1 second. Whereas merchandise will have a lower per unit cost if pre-purchased at larger quantities. And whereas this will allow us to have a better margin for merchandise. Resolved that a products team is created as a standing committee on the board of directors. Resolved that the duties of the products team are to design merchandise and manage sales of these items for purchase by the members. And resolved that Tobias Vasari and Rob McKenzie are appointed to the products team. Resolved that the products team is authorized to purchase up to $2,000 of existing merchandise items in advance of sales to the members. And resolved that the products team is authorized to purchase up to $500 of newly designed merchandise items in advance of sales to the members. And resolved that this authorization for advanced purchases of merchandise expires September 30th, 2025. Which is a big pile of whereas and clauses. Basically, the plain English explanation is up to this point, for especially the first couple waves, we didn't have a ton of banked cash. And so we would let all the orders come in, and then we would order exactly to what we would have gotten for an order. This had the effect of making sure that we didn't carry any stock, and shirts are terrible. Like, people order the sizes that they want, which is good, but that means that you never really know for sure what you're going to get for an order. And you end up carrying like 5 extra smalls at the end of everything or whatever. But especially in wave 3, the number of orders dipped significantly, and the cost per item goes down when we order more from the supplier that we're using. So the goal is to instead carry some amount of stock, because if we can get a 10 or 15% discount by pre-ordering, that's a pretty good deal. So we've resolved that we're going to pre-order up to $2,000 worth of existing merchandise, stuff that we've already sold in the past. And because we have some new merchandise ideas, we want to pre-order some of those, but we don't know exactly for sure how many we need. We're going to pre-order $500 of the new stuff and then carry some of that as stock and see exactly how that sells. This also creates a permanent committee, the products team, that is responsible for physical products for Judge Foundry. Toby and I are the ones on it, and we are basically allowed to produce products and fulfill products. And so we could also get obviously other members or other people to help with that in general, but this designates us as the ones responsible for making sure that Judge Foundry products happen out of the board. I believe that covers all the stuff. Oh, the expiration. We put an expiration date. It's not going to be relevant. We're going to order all this stuff in the next couple of weeks, but we wanted to make sure that if we, for some reason, didn't, that we weren't authorized to, pay this money out in 5 years or whatever. So, I believe that covers it and explaining it.
Yeah, is there any discussion on the resolution? I think Rob's covered what we're doing here. Nope. Okay. So we'll move on. I will move that we adopt this resolution, the products team and authorization to pre-purchase merchandise. All in favor, please raise your hand. We have 4 votes in favor. The resolution is adopted, and we have a products team who can buy some merch and try and get our costs down to our members. Okay, next up is the election committee, the board adopted election committee charter. So we made some special rules for the election committee that the board adopted in March in order to create that committee. We then enshrined the elections committee in our bylaws, so these rules don't matter anymore. So I'll read the resolution. This is October 24, 2024, Resolution 3, rescind the board adopted election committee charter. Whereas the board of directors adopted a charter for the election committee during its regular meeting in March 2024 in order to conduct Judge Foundry's first elections. Whereas the members amended the bylaws to establish the election committee and adopted special rules of order and standing rules to conduct nominations and elections. Whereas the bylaws, special rules of order, and standing rules adopted by the members outrank the charter adopted by the board. Whereas there are conflicts between the member adopted rules and the board adopted charter. Whereas the board of directors should have no influence on the election committee or process. Resolved that the resolution establishing the charter of the election committee adopted by the board of directors at its meeting on March 27th, 2024 is rescinded. Do we have any discussion here? This is mostly procedural. We did a thing. We need to undo that thing because it's more official now.
Yeah, and just to make sure that it's clear, this is not actually, like, the stuff in the bylaws is substantially the same as what we passed, correct?
Yeah, there's, as this mentions, there's a couple specific conflicts that I can't recall off the top of my head, but the charter defines something in one very specific way, and then we adopted bylaws that define it in a very different specific way, and we wrote the bylaws version of it because that's what we actually wanted, and now we don't want to have 2 versions of the same rules.
Makes sense.
Okay, I move that we adopt Resolution 3, the rescind board adopted election committee charter. All in favor? I have 4 votes in favor. The resolution is adopted. Our old rules are rescinded, and now we only have 1 definition for our election committee. The next thing on the agenda is a resolution about membership dues and gift subscriptions. Would anyone like to read that resolution?
I'm happy to. So Whereas the board of directors adopted a motion in November 2023 to set monthly member fees at $5 USD for members in the US and $7 CAD in Canada. Whereas the gift subscription program was created to allow anyone to pay for membership dues on behalf of a current member. Whereas gift subscriptions are currently set to expire at the end of 2024. And whereas the gift subscription duration was set to allow the now current board to evaluate those subscriptions and the current member rates, resolved that the gift subscription program expiration date is extended through the end of December 2025. So this is just saying no changes to how gift subscriptions work. We like it. We're going to extend it a year.
Yeah, the material change here, and anyone can correct me if I'm wrong, is that right now, if you attempt to give someone a gift subscription, they can only have 2 months of gift subscriptions because there's only November and December left in 2024. And we set this up when we established gift subscription several months ago so that the new board would not be burdened by the old board selling hundreds of gift subscriptions that extend infinitely into the future. So now we're extending that to be the end of 2025 to give the next board the same choice. But once we adopt this resolution and give instructions to the Judge Apps team, you'll be able to have up to 14 months of gift subscriptions until November rolls around, which is not that far from now.
Right. So making sure I'm understanding, the problem with selling more months of dues and whatnot would have been, suppose we had decided we needed to raise dues by increasing costs somehow, some number of dollars, then that would have got out of whack for people who had purchased a whole bunch of months of gift subscriptions, right? And so we're not raising, everything is staying where it is. And so, yeah, we can just roll it forward.
It's also not just raising the dues. It creates a liability issue where a gift subscription is something that we are supposed to fulfill for someone in the long-term future. And I don't think the Judge Foundry is going to go away, but if we materially change our program in a way that someone wants to say, well, I got this gift subscription and it's not what it used to be, I want a refund. We haven't issued that many refunds, but we don't want someone with 200 months of subs to come say, give me all my 200 months back, I'm not interested anymore. Which it sounds over the top, but someone might actually do that, and that's a thing. So we wanted to set a limit. We thought that the logic behind making it every year the board can re-up the limit made sense. So that's the logic behind the original resolution that set the limit, and now we, as the new board, would like to agree that it's still a good idea to have those extended gift subscriptions.
And this was also the original discussion was we didn't want it, like we had no idea what the new board composition would look like, and if we allowed people to buy 200 months of gift subscription, then the new board would like be a little bit trapped between anything they wanted to do. And so we wanted to leave the option open for the actual elected board to make the choices. So.
Okay. Is there any other discussion? Sounds like no. So I move we adopt the resolution, maintain current membership dues for 2025, and continue gift subscriptions. All in favor? I see 4 yeses. So the resolution is adopted. Gift subscriptions will be available until the end of 2025, and our dues will remain the same as of now. So the next thing on the agenda is some information about the bylaws committee. Rob?
Yes, I'm the current board member that served on the prior bylaws committee, which did cease to exist when we completed the member meeting cycle. We are supposed to have one that exists. We need a new bylaws committee to exist. We don't just carry forward the previous one. So we need one for the coming year. If you are interested in reviewing bylaw suggestions and turning them into functional forms, and that could be somebody says, hey, we really need a bylaw to decree that everyone's required to eat celery at board meetings. I don't know why we would want that, but it might be something the members really want us to do. But if you're interested in turning that into something that looks like a real bylaw, look, I don't want to pitch bylaws that I might accidentally call into being. Okay, so
Matt's thinking. You've put it out in the air now.
Yeah. Well, if you're going to require celery, then you have to require that we serve ranch as well. But
yeah, I mean that's perfectly fair.
I'm already formulating the words of this particular bylaw amendment, and I have already inserted the ranch dressing into the wording. So I mean, it's a done deal at this point, Rob.
Yep. Great. Well, so if we don't want Matt to be in the bylaws committee, we can pick 5 other people. So last year, I really want to thank Matt for his work helping out with the bylaws committee. You did a ton of work on it. And I would love us to have members that are interested enough that we don't have to lean on Matt for that. That we can go to Matt as our parliamentarian and say, hey, we've written this. Does it sound comprehensible? But I would love to have a 5-person bylaws committee. We can have up to 1 member of the board on it. And so if we only have 4 volunteers and we sneak a board member on there, that's fine. That allows some feedback between the board. But if you're really interested in writing rules for the organization, the actual time commitment for the bylaws committee was not that large. It has some timeliness components that you need to make sure things are lined up at certain times so that bylaws can be put forward to the members, but the actual overall amount of stuff is not that large. I've got some people in mind that I'd love to suggest, but I really want the members any member that really wants to step up to be on the committee. We probably aren't going to say no to you because like it is kind of like the most boring job in the universe, but it's also an interesting job because it lets you drive the rules that make the organization run. Think of it as writing the IPG for the judge. Yes, I was going to say
universe. I feel like magic judges should be intensely interested in writing bylaws.
Yes,
I've seen the glow in some folks' eyes over parliamentary procedure.
Oh gosh,
not just you, Matt. Don't worry. So hopefully we can get the new folks for that this year too.
Yes, and so please send us an email, board@judgefoundry.org as an email, and we will put together a bylaws committee, and the December meeting, which at this point is only 6 weeks away, will be announcing a bylaws committee for the year. So we just really want to get that out and push that from the new board to make sure that people know that we want people to write bylaws.
Okay, thanks, Rob. I have one last thing in new business, and then we'll move on to announcements. Someone corrected me on a statement I made earlier about our contract with JudgeCast. I just want to be clear that I was trying to say that we are working on a contract and that is moving forward, that the contract is not in place, as I said. We're working on it, things are being discussed, and want to move forward with that content. Just wanted to be clear so that everybody knows where we are there. So next up, we have announcements. Brooke, you're first.
All right. First, the whole board just wanted to say congratulations to Chevy Larson, recently elected as RA for Canada's Western provinces after Toby's election to the board vacated that spot. I've had the pleasure of working with Chevy several times at events. They're great. They bring a lot to events, and they've already brought a lot of good discussion to conversations with the board and with the other RAs. And so I'm looking forward to continuing to work with Chevy in this new role and seeing what more ideas they bring to the table. Congratulations, Chevy.
Thanks, Brooke. Next up, we have an announcement from Rob about Discord.
So we've had internal discussions about how Discord wants to interact with social media, how Judge Foundry wants to interact with social media. This is conceivably news to some number of members. If you're closely connected to either the RAs or the board, you have likely heard people chatting back and forth about this. We received a bunch of really well thought out feedback from the RAs, and we're deeply appreciative of it. We really, really appreciate that feedback and want that kind of feedback from them. This advice from them, this feedback, has made us make a bit of a course change on what plans we had for social media management, specifically chat management. Our decision is currently we're going to make no negative changes to the Discord. We're not going to remove it. We're not going to start killing stuff off on it. We will be moving forward with Mattermost, which we authorized a payment for a couple months back. We're going to move that as an official internal chat program. Similar, if you follow stuff, there's a feedback Slack that the board uses. The objective is for Mattermost to be a much more accessible version of that to everybody. It's going to be an easy to access, all member available chat site. You'll just be able to go to a website. The objective is for you to just go to a website, and it will log you in automatically with your Judge Apps login. If you would like to help try to get this set up, I have the server all primed. I need somebody to help me with onboarding specifically to get that set up for anybody to be able to walk in and get access to that official internal chat. And by internal, I mean open to everybody. Judge Apps accounts let you in. If you're excited to help set that up, set up things like chat bridges, you want to help create a way for members to chat based just on that login information and have direct feedback to the board, and in a way that we have direct control over all of the history of. If you're familiar with Slack, the Slack does not retain history if you're on the free plan, which then you have to pay per user, and it's like $5 per user. It's terrible. Mattermost is much cheaper, and it allows us to have total control, total chat history, and a lot of moderation and power tools on it. If you're interested in helping get that set up as a low bar feedback space for members, please get in touch with me, Rob McKenzie at judgefoundry.org. You can email the board as well, and I'll just respond back. It's fine. Or you could message me anywhere, and we'll chat about it, and I'll help to get you set up, and we can get in there. The official Discord, it's not going anywhere. Discord is a place where a lot of judge communication happens. It may have positive changes going forward. We may improve and expand a bunch of stuff there. We want to make sure that there's a place that people that already have specific chat tools have good access to and can talk to us. And we want to make sure that there's a low bar general feedback space that we have control over is the current objective. So that's what I have on that. Any other comments from other board members on it?
Nope. Okay.
Great.
Our next announcement is about conferences. This is a quick one. We've included this in a lot of board meetings. The conference request form is on our website. We want to encourage people to go find it and apply for conferences if there's something you would like a conference you would like to see in your region or in your area. If you go to the website, you can click Learn More, and we'll show a drop down, and there will be a link to the conference's sign up form. There's no big change here. We're just making this easier to find. Again, on the website, if you want to run a small conference, small gathering, and you want some support from Judge Foundry, sign up. We'll try and make it work. The next announcement I have is about community grants. Is there someone that wants to talk about this?
I can take this.
Okay.
So there was an article just published on the website today about community grants. The basic idea is that the board has a lot of experience and we represent a lot of different regions, but it would certainly be impossible for any 5 judges to be deeply connected with every single community and every community's needs across all of our area. And so we want to bring to encourage people to do cool stuff for their local communities. And so this is we have set aside some dollars, and if you have an idea of a thing you want to do for judges in your area, let us know, and we might be able to give you some money to help make that happen. So whether your idea is, I want to do something for the local judges in my one town and I want 2 hoodies, or if your idea is I want to do something grand and on an epic scale for the 5 states worth of judges, and I need $1,000 for it. Like whatever the range of you're thinking of, there's no idea too big or too small. Check out the article on the website, and there's a form to request in there. And yeah, we want to hear your ideas for how we can help judges in your area. And yeah, let us know what we can do to help support you. And whatever your idea is, we'll look it over. We'll talk it over. We might ask you some more clarifying questions, and we'll be able to give some money out to help make your ideas a reality for helping judges in your local area.
Thanks, Brooke. Next, we have something from Rob.
Yes. So at the member meeting, we talked about making a committee to reach out to other games and publishers and investigate doing things for certifications and judging related to them. We don't have that quite spun up yet. We've been working on it. We've been talking to people about it. We want to make sure that we have a strong committee put together for that. We were given a 60-day timeline that puts us basically right to our December meeting. And so we're going to have something announced in time for that meeting. I just wanted to make sure that people are aware that we weren't forgetting about this, that this still exists. But the news is currently working on it. This board meeting has a ton of stuff in it already. So
thanks, Rob. And if people are interested in being on that committee, raise your hands, let us know. Email us, board@judgefoundry.org. We would love volunteers. We will go hunt people down and build a committee if we have to. But if people are like, I do other game, I would like to be involved, please let us know.
Yes, we would love that.
And then Brooke has one more thing for us.
So I am starting to spin up a couple of projects and would love to have some help with these. So this one is I would like to try and get our L1 test available for folks in both Spanish and French. A lot of the expectation for higher roles is that it will involve, working with multiple other judges, multiple different TOs. And for that, for the moment at least, we're going to continue requiring English. But for many judges, if they're just working at their one local store, just doing the pre-releases and FNMs, that's a huge number of judges who might be working in some other local language. And so we don't want to be stopping those folks from joining up because English is not their native language. And so we want the L1 test to be available in Spanish and in French. And so if you are a judge who is fluent in either of those languages, please reach out. We would love to. We're just at the very beginning stages of starting to spin this up. But yeah, get in touch, and we would love to have some folks helping translate some of these existing questions to make that a reality. Also, one other thing, we would like all of us on the board are agreed that we want events to be safe and fun for everyone. I'm trying to start putting together a project to make to get feedback on what we can do better as judges to make that a reality, to make events safe and fun for everyone. So if you are a member of any marginalized group and you have thoughts about how events could be, what judges need to know that better than they currently do, we would love to hear from you. We would love to get project members who are willing to reach out to a bunch of groups, and we want to put together a project to gather some information and make a recommendation to the board on what we can do better, training judges to know more, so that everyone always feels welcome at events. And then the third one is we touched on the community grants. If you want to be involved in deciding, evaluating different projects and proposals and deciding which ones we are going to fund. We would need some help with that as well. So if this is a good opportunity for anyone who wants to make a real difference in helping different communities and helping evaluate different ideas. So yeah, several things are going to be posted shortly. You can look for those coming soon in the Judge Apps project recruitment and help wanted area. And yeah, if you're interested, you can either post there or reach out to the board. Again, you can always contact us through the website. There's a drop down for contact us with our email. And we would love to hear from anyone who's interested in helping with any of those initiatives.
Thanks, Brooke. I think that's our last announcement. Did anyone else have any other business for the meeting today?
I just wanted to personally say welcome to the new board members. Brooke, Toby, I'm excited to work with you over the next year. I'm happy you got elected, and we've got a lot of stuff cooking already. The two of you have great ideas and great enthusiasm. And the secret budget, I believe Beepril said, that the secret budget of the judge program is enthusiasm. That's how you get anything done. So you have it. We want it. We're going to use it. So
yeah, I'll echo Rob's sentiment. I was really hoping that, however the directors worked out this year, that we would have people enthusiastic and want to come in and do stuff, and that has turned out to be true. So excited about the things that we're going to do over the next few months, and I'm glad that we're going to get to do cool stuff this year.
Looking forward to it.
I guess I can again close us off with thanking Amanda and Bears for their involvement over the last year. They were an incredible benefit to our organization, and they helped craft us getting to where they are, or to where we are. And I believe both of them will still be heavily involved in an organization in various ways. Deeply thank them for all the things they've done for us. It's kind of unfathomable the amount of help they have provided, and guidance and mentorship and different perspectives, and really appreciate them a lot. Yeah, so did we have any other business today? No. Okay, great. So the October Judge Foundry meeting, or board meeting, is adjourned. Thanks everybody for watching on stream, and we will see you at the beginning of December, or at events, or at any of the other various things that we do. Thanks for watching and coming out.